Okay, so Suzuki Iruma is now completely busted. Chapter 366 has revealed that he's way stronger than we could have ever imagined, as Iruma somehow manages to crack Amy Azami's barrier magic. On top of that, my prediction of Mephisto getting involved has come true, as he is truly Iruma's kingmaker. But we have to rewind to the beginning to understand what the hell just happened. The chapter begins exactly how we all expected, with Iruma in shock that Azami's name is Amy, thinking he's related to Kiryu in some way. But before we can even comprehend what's happening, the border controller are already starting to destroy the farm, using the likes of Lafire, Shaver, and Graft to level the hard work everyone's put into it. This is something that Nova specifically has dreamed of for years, so needless to say, he's pissed. Only for Azami to further show how racist he is by calling him a filthy low rank that deserves to have his face in the ground. Nova gets so angry that it almost makes his evil face come out, but luckily Iruma is there to stop him. This was where I was in fact wrong in my chapter review last week. I said we wouldn't likely see Iruma fight Azami because he's outmatched, but my god, I was so wrong. Iruma and the others were evacuating the other Longiers in case something happens, so Nova is the only one that needs to be protected now. Iruma then points his bow towards Azami, who states that he's now pointing an arrow directly at the border control. Even if he is a grandson of one of the three greats, he won't get away with this so easily. By the way, as a side note, Azami does actually call him Sullivan Iruma, which makes a lot more sense. Iruma's name shouldn't really be Suzuki anymore. That's from the parents who abandoned him and he's left that life completely behind. His true parents are Sullivan and Opera, as he stated before, so this is how he should be referred to. Although I'll admit that Sullivan Iruma doesn't quite roll off the tongue as well as Suzuki Iruma, but it does make him kind of sound like a noble. Azami continues to brag about how his barrier cannot be broken or taken down by any attack, telling Iruma to back off. But Iruma seems to go into a trance, repeating the same thing over and over again. Through it. Pierce through it. He's so into this attack and focused that Asmodeus is frozen in shock, with a blush of course because he knows what's coming. Iruma then goes into a flashback with Bachiko, so we know shit's about to go down. Bachiko teaches Iruma that imagination is what matters most when creating a bow and firing attacks. If you can imagine it being the most powerful magic, it will be. It all comes down to fighting spirit. This may sound like some Black Clover, Noel bull, but it actually makes sense of this magic specifically. When Iruma was first learning archery, Bachiko stated that desires are what powers the bow. The bow displays the user's personality. The amount of mana you use is close to useless if your desire isn't there, although it is still important of course. Creating a bow is about revealing your true emotions and feelings deep down. The stronger your desire, the stronger the bow. So with his iconic, perfect shot, Iruma releases his arrow, shocking everyone as it broke straight through Amy Azami's barrier. Guys, this is ridiculous and possibly the greatest feat we've ever seen from Iruma, as it's revealed that Azami is rank Chet, aka rank 8. Like for comparison, both Balam and Kalego are also rank 8. So this is insane. As remember that even Baal told Archery and Shida to avoid them at all costs. And Iruma is out here breaking a rank Chet bloodline magic at only rank 5. By the way, this also explains why the Barbatos clan is so feared too. Iruma is the only student who ever got through Bachiko's training. Him being human allows his power to shine, and it explains why the 3 greats and the 13 crowns fear of angering their clan. With this chapter, I can't even begin to imagine how strong Bachiko is. She said she can fire 100 shots at once thanks to her bloodline, so her being a crown makes perfect sense. Chances are that Azami is actually weaker than Kiryu now, but we can look at Kiryu's magic as an indication for this power that Iruma just showed. The only ones we saw able to break the barriers temporarily in Babylus were high-ranked teachers like Kalego, and then it regenerated anyway. Then Asmodeus couldn't do anything against Kiryu, feeling that he could never break through this barrier. But the question is, why do I think that Kiryu is now stronger than Azami? Well, for one, he returned to Origins, which gives demons a huge boost in power. It's basically like being in evil phase 24/7, which we saw Asmodeus and Sabro get huge boosts from. Then the ring has a lot more piled up magic. Iruma has power leveling Sullivan in his ring, so chances are that Kiryu has been given magic by Baal. But anyway, in the Diviculum, both Asmodeus and Iruma combining their powers wasn't even enough to scratch Kiryu's barrier, but Iruma proved in this chapter that he alone is enough. Contrary to what you might think, Asmodeus did not help him here. He was ready to, but quickly realized that Iruma didn't need his help. So despite not even ranking up in a while, Iruma has grown exponentially. Azami is blown away by this. And you know what else is blown away? is hat, meaning that Iruma shot it straight off of his head. So he can act as arrogant as he wants, but if Iruma shot like an inch lower, this guy could be dead. But, you know, that would be a bad move, and Iruma's not a complete psychopath. So then Azami just laughs at the absurdity of it, as Iruma has just basically declared war against the border control, and now this gives him an excuse to arrest him. But then Mephisto gets involved. Yep, never doubt me again. Nah, I'm just kidding. I get why you guys said that before. But as I said in that video, Mephisto now lives to serve Iruma, which fits into his nature and demonology. In Faust legend, Faust made a deal with the devil at the price of his soul, with Mephistopheles acting as the devil's agent, which is what he'll be to Demon King Iruma in the future. Mephisto tells Iruma that he should really think before he acts, but he does say that despite knowing he could never win, Iruma still stood up for the Longias, which is what a true king would do. Further saying what I've already said in the past, Mephisto says that he'll be the one to guide this small light into a beam that can pierce through anything, and to let him handle this situation as he is the Kingmaker. And then, as he says this, he easily opens up a skylight in Azami's barrier, like bruh. After Iruma's whole archery thing, I was thinking, well, Iruma is actually busted now. Maybe he actually isn't too far away from the strongest, but then Mephisto shows what the 13 crowns are really made of. They're on a completely different level to others, even higher ranked demons in the border control. And I believe I figured out what Mephisto's magic actually is, and it's a lot more simple than you'd think. Spatial magic. Well, not exactly. I believe it's the ability to warp reality itself. Now, why do I believe this? Well, in the legends of Mephistopheles, he has an absurd amount of powers, but most are possible in the demon world thanks to the use of spells, like enhanced strength, speed, immortality, etc. These are all spells in Iruma that higher ranks can use. One of the main powers of Mephistopheles that is unique is reality warping, which fits right into his plans of making Iruma king. He can see the right path to take and warp reality to create a path for future demon kings, which is likely what his family has been doing for generations. Well, not his family, just him. Mephisto is one of the oldest demons in the entire demon world. His name was written into the first books of history, being in the memoirs for 3 demon kings. And just like in the legend of Faust, Mephisto is a demon who you should deal with very carefully. Whoever wins his favour will become king and sit on the throne, but for those he forsakes will be cast into the depths of the abyss. Mephisto has to be one of the scariest demons. I mean, he became a crown easily as soon as he heard that the other crowns had put together the trickster plan to find the next demon king, so his purpose was made clear again. Then in the Diviculum, Iruma was the only one out of the candidates who stood up instantly and fired his weapon without needing protection. But this would mean that if you compare him to the other crowns, he's likely on a completely different level, and it would make more sense to compare him to the 3 greats. I mean, this guy has made demon kings for eons, and you have to bow to him to make sure you earn his favour. So it would make sense as to why he could easily open Azami's barrier. Magical power levels, abilities mean nothing if you can change reality itself for your needs, which would include affecting the space around you. By the way, as extra proof of this, Mephisto has multiple times seemed to just appear. For example, in this chapter, he just appears behind Azami without him sensing a thing. Guys, this is a rank Chet demon. The reason why he couldn't be sent is because he basically teleported there, or more accurately, used his spatial magic to create a hole in space. And yeah, you might bring up the fact that he can shapeshift, but that could be him warping reality to be what he wants. But chances are, it's just a high form of an advanced non-verbal magic, like Charushuru. In most anime of magic, spatial magic has to exist in some way, and I believe Mephisto is the one who possesses this power. We haven't seen the limits to this yet, but we've seen him open holes in countless krakens without anyone seeing a thing, because he's warping space so no magical ability would be seen. Maybe I'm wrong, but this would make sense as to why he can just open Azami's barrier and his statement of leading Iruma down the right path. But that's all I've got for this video. If you guys want to see more, then check out the video on screen right now for more of my videos.